Hey guys, Lyjane here, and today is going to be something very new. I know, me being current, it's strange, but not as strange as the show I'm about to talk about. The Hollow Season 2, and let's see if it's worth it. The Hollow premiered on June 8th, 2018 as a straight-to-Netflix cartoon show. I did a review on it already, so you can check it out in the card in the top right corner. The gist of this show is that there are 3 kids that wake up in a mysterious room with absolutely no memories. They soon learn their own names, Adam, Mira, and Kai, before trying to figure out what's going on. The rest of the season is full of action, mystery, and humor, but it ends on a cliffhanger, which is why we needed Season 2. Now from here on out, I will be talking exclusively about Season 2, which will have spoilers for Season 1, so if you want to go into this show completely blind, then click off here, watch the show, and then come back, so you have been warned. Season 2 kicks off almost immediately after Season 1 ended, and I wasn't sure which direction the show was going to take. Adam, Mira, and Kai wake up in their own bedrooms, but something is off. They are still digital. It gets stranger when their families don't quite act right, and bullies seem not to have aged. Plus, no one remembers the Hollow video game at all. Now first off, I like that everyone remembers the first season, and when the kids come together, they reminisce about it. It was nice to see some of these references to show that they have grown and changed. It also starts to show you what they were like before going into the Hollow. The majority of this season is exploring who these kids were before the first season, and I like that. They aren't completely different, but there are subtle clues and growth there that I like. A major part of the show is the mystery behind it, and the main mystery here is, what's going on? They should have been ejected from the game once they won. In fact, we saw that already, so what's going on here? Is it a game? Is the Hollow doing this? Is this like a level 2? While I found this mystery to not be as good as the first season, I think it was handled far better because each of the possibilities seems like it could be real, so which one is it? And thus keeps you guessing. There is still a lot of action in the show, and now that the kids know that they have powers, it starts a lot sooner. The show also throws in Team B with Reeve, Skeet, and Vanessa, as well as other kids with powers, so we get to see some new combinations and fights, which is nice. The driving force for this season, though, are the characters and their development. Out of everyone, I think Adam and his relationship with Reeve and Kai get the most screen time. I was very surprised to see that this season puts a much greater focus on Kai. Most people that watch this show hated him due to his not very funny and pessimistic ways. Personally, I didn't find him quite that bad, but a lot of people online really did. For him to be given a lot more screen time might infuriate people, but he has grown and changed. Sure, he still has some of those annoying lines and tendencies, but he starts to show leadership and courage, trying to patch together other people's problems and relationships. I like this new focus and evolution of his character. But this season falls into some of the same problems that the last one had. Mostly, what to do with Mira. She has the same role as Season 1, which is to be smart, keep the group together, and fix their problems. But she doesn't have as much impact here because of the expanded roster. Even her powers are once again barely used. She can talk to animals and breathe underwater, but you might have forgotten that because she doesn't do either of them very much in both seasons. There are a few scenes where animals are just kind of around, and it feels slightly out of place in that they were only put there so she could ask them for help. There is even one fight with a sea dragon, which is where I thought she would shine. She could breathe underwater and talk to it, but she just mostly distracts the beast for Adam to fight it. Even in the final battle, she does the least out of any character. But where the first season mostly focused on Adam, the second on Kai, maybe the third season will focus on Mira. The show has the same animation style, which is to be expected. It's nice and not over the top and gets the job done. I could see a bigger budget here too, as some of the sequences are far bigger and have more going on in them. There are even a few songs in this show and not just background music, which honestly surprised me. The other thing that surprised me was how adult the story was, asking some tough questions and even having a really tough scene. I didn't see it coming and I was very impressed with how it was handled. Now I'm going to go into spoilers for the second season, so skip to this time for the end of the review, okay? I was so pleased that the bigger questions of the first season were addressed and answered here. I guessed that the second team knew too much and that they were cheating, and I was mostly right. Vanessa cheated. She wore a special contact lens that stopped the memory wipe, but it also caused the glitches found in the first season. That glitch in the ending with her eye was just the contact lens glitching out, so that's solved. This show is also set some time in the future as well, with VR gaming being common. The Holo was one such game, and they have tournaments, which answers my questions about that. But you may be asking, why are they still digital? Well, they are copies made by the Holo for their future sim-like game, but due to the glitch, they kept their previous memories and became self-aware. The human side is still alive and doing whatever they do, so these guys are separate, which is one of those big questions, this existential kind of question. Do these characters have a soul? Do they have a right to live? Or should they just be put back in their place because they're glitched data? Then we have Skeet's death. Wow, I could not believe that they did that, and it wasn't a joke and he didn't respawn, it was a full-on death. He dies. It's not often you see death in shows for younger audiences, but they did it and they gave it the proper weight and emotion that it needed. The characters don't get over it either, and it's with them for the rest of the season. Lastly, let's end with some questions that I did have in this season. Why was the Holo illegally taking people's data just for a sim-like game? Why was their sim game so lousy? It just lets you torment people in it. That's pretty lame. Who made the contact lens for Vanessa? What did that group gain from cheating? Why was Weirdy so ready to help the kids delete the Holo? What was going on in the real world during all of this? Where did he transfer the data to get them off the grid? Why did the snail show up in the new Holo? Who was that strange shady organization that was hinted at in the show over the course of the season? Will the new Team B show up in the new Holo because they did complete the game, so they should be put in there? Or maybe it was taken off the grid before they get transferred, so I'm not sure. Why was the new Team B such jerks? And why were they poorly written? Because man, they were just antagonistic for the sake of being antagonistic. They were pretty crummy and probably the worst parts of this season. In my opinion, The Holo Season 2 is worth it, because it grows and expands upon a solid first season. The mystery isn't as strong, but it is consistent. Instead, we are given much more character growth and interaction with consequences and stakes. I like how they answered the bigger questions of the first season in a way that makes sense while not being bogged down by those twists. I feel like the twist ending in this season isn't as strong, but the quality of the animation, the characters, and the story is much better than Season 1. Go and give this show a watch. If you were iffy on Season 1, Season 2 fixes a lot of problems that you probably would have had, so chances are you will like it. Now, I can't wait for Season 3.